Hello everybody, how you all doing? This is going to be a little different. We're just going to talk about my squad very quickly and the past results week as well as my current team for this week. Just going through it. As you can see, these are some of the players that I played last week and the players that were on the bench. And we'll talk about those in a lot more depth and a lot more well, not so much the sub players, but we talk about my squad in a lot more depth and how I performed this week, as well as opening up my rewards for this week. Reward, I should probably say. So, looking at my all-star limited team, overall pretty good. Jacob Wren continues to really perform really well. He was on for a clean sheet until like the 80th minute, which really hurt because I was on for a tier 3. Obviously, I wouldn't have hit the tier 3 regardless. But you can see that my captain, Faikal Fajir, did pretty well. Stefan Nuts with a decisive as well, looking pretty decent. He constantly performs at the moment. And Reinders came on for like 3 minutes. I take that, extra points. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough for tier 3. Then we go to my all-star rare team. Unfortunately, the issue is here with 2 DNPs. You're never going to have a chance. So both Chano as well as Volland were not playing. You go to my Champion America team and you can see that again, Chano not playing. Did hurt me, but I don't think it would have made the difference. I don't think he would have made 80 points. I probably should have picked a better captain. Luckily, Lala's getting a assist or goal. And ultimately, if I just picked a better captain and maybe Chano played, I could have been in it. Then we get to the big ones. Champion Europe. That one hurt a lot because Leipzig were doing really well, and then in the 81st minute or so they concede to Dortmund, unfortunately wiping out the keeper clean sheet, as well as Guardiola missing 13 points. So if my keeper keeps a clean sheet and Guardiola gets his 13 points or 12 points, 10 for keeping a clean sheet and then 2 for not conceding a goal, suddenly we're on for a tier 2, and that happened in like the 81st 82nd minute. So that really hurt, but obviously we can't do anything about that. I was hoping that if Dortmund were going to score, it was going to come through Haaland, either through a goal or an assist through him. It didn't happen, unfortunately. So it's a very disappointing performance, especially when you've got Kimmich as your captain, and he scores over 104. Well, he scores 105 points essentially with the captaincy and the bonuses and all that good stuff. And you've got Chouameni who scores 64, and you've got obviously Guardiola who scores 61. When you've got all that combined, it is a little bit of a shame that you don't get a tier 3 price, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. Guardiola, amazing AA. But as I said, unfortunately, it was just he conceded a goal in the 82nd minute, and obviously that removes 12 points, 10 for the clean sheet bonus, and then 2 for the conceding a goal. That itself is -2, so that really hurt, unfortunately. You look at Galassi overall, goalkeeping, very good stats, but possession is the thing that holds him back, as I think it does for every goalkeeper, because it doesn't matter how much possession you win, how many clean passes you do. It's ultimately you're gonna lose points, and that's a little bit frustrating. But so close, 23.55 points away from a tier 3. As I said, the goal really is for me to hit a tier 3 every single week. Didn't happen this week, as you can see right away here with my under 23 as well. I was 6 points away from hitting that tier 3, which again is just very unfortunate. Looking at my under 23 squad, very good players performing really decent. You've got Cody Gakpo, who I wasn't sure was going to play. As I mentioned during my lineup building, I wasn't sure whether he was going to play. He was a doubt for the game, and I decided, what, if he plays, then I'll make it captain. So if he plays, I'm taking that risk, and hopefully it pays off. And if he doesn't play well, then my lineup would have been screwed anyway. So that was my thought process behind it, and you can see that he scored. He came in the second half for PSV and he scored, which is just typical Cody Gakpo. Not AA monster, but decisive monster. And you can see here how far I was from the rewards. But yeah, and then Bright Osai Samuel also gets a decisive, amazing. Simakan, he keeps his clean sheet bonus because he got subbed off before they conceded. He got subbed off in like the 70th minute or so, so he keeps his clean sheet bonus, which is why he's still got that plus 12 from the game. Musiala, on the other hand, he comes in like 20 minutes before the game ends and still hits he still hits 40 points, like 15 all-around score in 28 minutes. It's just absolutely incredible. Ultimately, we're down. We didn't reach the tier 3 by 6 points. It's unfortunate, but again, as long as my players keep performing and as long as we're constantly competing, that's the goal. Ideally, of course, I'd love to have a tier. I'd love to win a tier 3 every single game week, but it's not happening at the moment. But I feel like with the players that I have, we are getting closer and closer to doing that more consistently. As I said, it's not my players that are doing poor, it's me with my lineup building that is not that great, because you look at all the players' scores here and they're all doing relatively well. So it's just something that I have to work on. You know, I have to be better with my team building. One person that really surprised me was Tanguy Nianzou. Him starting, I was very surprised with, because he started the previous game and he really hasn't started that much. But the amazing thing is he is a player that really has a really good AA scores. But I think personally he's like one of the biggest talents in centre back that I've ever seen. It's just that he has one mistake per game in him, and he kind of needs to get rid of that. And if he gets rid of that, I think he's going to be, you know, a nailed-on star for Bayern. It's funny enough, obviously me being a Bayern fan, I am up to date with obviously all the news, and the news came out as well that Bayern is not planning on signing another centre back for next season. So we're only going to have 4 centre backs next season. With Sula leaving, so we're going to have Nianzou, Upamecano, Lucas Hernandez, and Pavard. And I think Tanguy Nianzou will get a lot of game time next season. So I am just personally, you know, with his age and his general AA scores being so high, I think it's going to be absolutely fantastic for all the people that hold Tanguy Nianzou for next season. I think he's going to do really well, and I'm looking forward to seeing how he performs in the next season. Now, moving on a little bit from here, looking forward to obviously my reward. I get Nicholas Hedl, who under 23 goalkeeper, has me very excited, and then I go over on Sorare just to check who is this kid, who is this guy, and I've realized, oh yes, he's 21 years old, but he's only played the last 7 games, give or take. And that just has me worried. I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. Is he going to be the new goalkeeper, or is that just something up with Rapid Vienna's goalkeeper? And ultimately, I found out that, well, their current goalkeeper seems to be injured, so nothing I can do about that. It is what it is at the end of the day. Now, speaking of it being what it is, let's move on to my team for this week, for this game week, for match week. I believe it's 259, if I'm correct. Let me just double check for you. But I'm pretty sure it is a game week 259. Yes, it is. So looking at my squad, you can tell right away that I went with a Leipzig stack. They're playing against Atalanta, so they're playing against a relatively difficult team. But I thought Guardiola and Simakan, even if they concede goals, they have such good and crazy AA scores that I trust them to do really well. So yeah, that's kind of a thought process behind it with playing Guardiola and Simakan, and obviously Gulashi is the starting goalkeeper. I could have chosen between Gulashi and Sean Johnson. I went with Gulashi just because I thought, well, I'm playing Guardiola and Simakan already, so I might as well play Gulashi as well. Obviously Kimmich playing as well. He is my captain alongside Cody Gakpo. Now, the game is today. The Bayern game is today, but unfortunately I didn't realize that until, you know, it was too late, until the lineups were locked in already, that Alphonso Davies is already back. The recovery process has gone smoother than people would have thought, and he is in contention to start today, which is absolutely crazy to me. But yeah, he's in contention to start today. So if I had known that, maybe I would have switched Simakan for Davies. You know, that could have been an option. But or someone else who we'll talk about in a minute. But yeah, it is just crazy that he's back, because that gives my squad another option, especially in defense. I feel like I'm a little light, so the defense not so much, but in terms of like challenger, obviously Davies is not a challenger Europe defender, but I feel like I'm still a little bit light in defense, so just having more defenders gives me more options. Midfield, I also feel like I'm a little bit light, but not that light. Now, Kimmich being my captain, I think that goes without saying. Gakpo, I hope that he gets a decisive, and then I hope there's a clean sheet. Maybe, I know it's unlikely against Atlanta, but Leipzig is just a very good team, so I could imagine them keeping a clean sheet. So again, the goal is a tier 3, as it always is for me. That's like the why I aim for it, and everything above that is a bonus. Obviously, with my squad size, with my squad, you could realistically say that I should be aiming for at least 2 tier 3s or maybe like 1 tier 2 every game week. But I did, but I rather aim low. It's not so much low, but I just rather be consistent rather than have like 1 week where everything just goes crazy well, if that makes sense. Now, here's one thing that I didn't realize is that Musiala will play, or is likely to play, in midfield against Villarreal. I wasn't sure about that at all. Like, I was debating, should I put Musiala in instead of Simakan, or should I leave Simakan in? I decided to leave Simakan in, as you can see, but the report is coming out today that Musiala will likely start against Villarreal, which is good. Obviously, he is very likely to, he's likely to get decisives, but also he's very good at AA. So I don't know whether I made the right decision now. Basically, like, the gamble would have been putting Musiala in, and obviously I didn't do that. But the way I see it, we'll just see how it all pans out, how it all progresses, and how Simakan will play tomorrow. The crazy part as well is, if you look at the amount that I need to get to tier 3 right now as of today is absolutely ridiculous, because I need 182 points to get a tier 3, and 75% of the games have already been played, which is nuts. Because that means, at least the way I see it, to get a tier 3 this game week, you need about 250, maybe 260. So the numbers are very, very low, and I've obviously still got all my 5 players to play. So it feels good. I think it feels good. It feels like this week we're gonna have a lot of chances to win, and that's kind of what you want to have, with the game week progressing. So that's just my thoughts on it all. Let me know what you all think. Did you have a look? Did you did you do quite well this game week? Let me know, and I'll see all of you in the next one, everyone. Until then, have a nice day. Peace out, and as always, bye.